Hi everyone, welcome to today's report, the 19th of July. Well, for today, I'd like to talk about a topic. I think it's one of the hottest topic already in the market. And I think by now, I think the whole world already knows what happened to Trump. There was an assassination attempt on him. And based on that, I would like to discuss what to expect from Trump if he gets re-elected. Okay. So Vice President Kamala Harris events are quickly filling up, and that's a reason to it. As the presidential elections draw near, polls suggest a potential victory for Trump. Now, some Democrats and major party donors are hoping for Biden to step down due to his poor performance during the presidential candidate debate, which was largely attributed to his age and also I think displayed over the social media many times the gaffe that he made, whereby he addressed the vice president instead of Kamala Harris as Vice President Trump. So this kind of things does not augur well for his image. So anyway, if he's elected, Trump plans to resume many of his first-term priorities, picking up where his administration left off before January 2021. Now, previously, in previous reports, right, I discussed the potential impacts of a Trump win based on his earlier policies. Today, I'll focus on his most recent policy updates and their possible economic implications. First of all, over here is tariffs and trade. Now, first, Trump proposed a significant expansion of tariffs with a possible levy of 10% or higher on nearly all imported foreign goods. Penalties would increase if trade partners manipulate their currencies or engage in other unfair trading practices. Now, in such instances, I think you could safely say that the main, the aim of Trump's policies for now is mainly toward China about currency manipulation. Now, he also aims to phase out Chinese imports of essential goods, including electronics, steel and pharmaceuticals, and ban Chinese companies from owning U.S. infrastructure in sectors such as energy, technology, and farmland. Now, implications with regards to whatever he has mentioned. Higher tariffs, which are taxes on imports, are likely to raise prices for consumers who have already faced higher costs from inflation. Trump's tariff would cost a typical US household $1,700 a year in what would effectively be a tax hike and could worsen inflation as a result. Trump did, however, say that he would bring inflation down, but stopped short of explaining what he would do. And basically, this is also the ongoing thing that we need to expect from Trump. Many of it is just explaining what he's going to do. How he's going to do it, I think we shall know once he comes into power. The next is taxes. Now, Trump has pledged to extend the 2017 tax cuts, which lowered the corporate tax from 35% to 21% and doubled the standard deduction and child tax credits. He wants to reduce the corporate tax rate further to as low as 15% and repeal any tax increases implemented under Biden. Additionally, he proposes eliminating taxes on tip income. This is a big thing. Tipping culture is a big thing in the US, though this would require congressional approval, right? So implications for taxes is extending tax cuts would potentially stimulate economic growth by increasing disposable income for individuals and reducing the tax burden on corporations. However, this could also lead to increased deficit and national debt if not offset by spending cuts or increased revenue from other sources. So this is something that I think every single president faces as well. So how is Trump going to do it? Again, this is we need to wait, okay? Now, with regards to war, I'm going to address two wars. First of all is the NATO-Ukraine war. Trump claims he can extend the ongoing war before his inauguration by negotiating a ceasefire, potentially involving Ukraine, ceding some Russian-occupied territory. It is also mentioned that the moment he comes in, he can solve this thing within 1 day. Okay, so that is a bold claim, most definitely. Regarding NATO, he criticized member nations for not meeting military spending targets and suggested he might encourage Russian aggression against non-compliant countries. In a nutshell, it said if Russia wants to attack, US is not going to defend. You deal with it on your own if you do not follow any of the agreed pointers. Okay, that's strong. Now, implications for this is Trump successfully brokered a peace deal. It could lead to stabilization in the region, potentially reducing global economic uncertainty and volatility. This could have positive effects on global markets, trade, and investments. However, if the peace deal involves Ukraine ceding territory to Russia, it could set a concerning precedent that might embolden other territorial aggressions, potentially increasing geopolitical risk. Now, this is something potentially that could happen. There is this discussion on the internet saying that Trump is real buddies with Putin, and whatever it is, whatever is written, this is a true fact. If they cede regions, Ukraine cedes regions to Russia, it may not end that well. Okay, things may settle for now, but in the future, we don't know. With regards to the Gaza war, Trump has expressed support for Israel efforts to destroy Hamas, but he also been critical of some of Israel tactics. Nevertheless, for me, Trump is viewed as a pro-Israel president. Why do I say that? Even though he's been critical of some of Israel tactics, right? He did say that he urged a swift return to peace, like any president would say, US president would say. But one particular action that he did was that from here, you could see that the stance is just like previous presidents. They are pro-Israel to in matters whenever involves the conflict between Israel and with Palestine. So what particular action in that led me to think this way is that Trump proposes revoking student visas for those who express anti-Semitic and anti-American views. Anti-American, I can understand, but anti-Semitic, that is in a way already showing that which way Trump is leaning towards. Right? So implications with regards to this is continued support for Israel military actions could lead to stability in US-Israel relationship, which has been rocked lately. We've seen so far, and potentially more defense contracts and military aid. While encouraging a swift resolution to the conflict could reduce prolonged economic uncertainty and stabilize markets. However, the method and aftermath of such resolutions could have varying impacts on regional trade and investments. Now, on the part of energy, Trump aims to make the US the world's leader in cheap energy and electricity by increasing oil drilling on public lands, offering tax breaks to oil, gas, and coal producers, speeding up natural gas pipelines approvals, and rolling back Biden's effort to promote electric cars. Now, he pledged to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accords again and wind subsidies and eliminate Biden-era regulations on energy-efficient appliances. This is very, very consistent with Trump, even in the past, whereby he doesn't believe in climate change. He thinks that this is a big hoax at the end of the day. So what he wants is cheap energy to assist the US in his plans, right? So other than that, he also plans to remove limits on American natural gas exports. Now, implications for these decisions: Trump's proposed energy policies could lead to short-term economic benefits such as lower energy prices and increased domestic production. However, they also carry significant risks related to environmental sustainability, long-term economic costs, and global competitiveness in the clean energy sector. Balancing these policies with considerations for environmental impact and long economic stability will be crucial. Now, when it comes to the topic of freedom cities, Trump envisions building freedom cities to reignite American imagination and offer affordable living and economic opportunities. The federal government would charter 10 new cities on federal land, selecting areas with the best development proposals. These cities are intended to revive US manufacturing and provide new industries and affordable living. Now, the key point here is US manufacturing. As you all know, US is known as a service-based industry. Trump has another vision, and he has a reason. There's a reason behind it. Now, implications with regards to freedom cities, the creation of new cities could stimulate economic growth by fostering new industries, increasing employment opportunities, and encouraging innovation. This could lead to significant investments in infrastructure and development projects, potentially boosting GDP and creating a ripple effect across the economy. Now, encouraging the return of manufacturing to the US could create jobs, reduce reliance on foreign production, and strengthen domestic supply chain. Now, again, this particular aim here is also to basically move away from China. They don't want to be too dependent on China. Deportation, an important topic in Trump, even at his very first presidency. So lastly, Trump promises to launch the largest domestic deportation operation in US history, which could involve detention camps and the National Guard. Implications for this, a recent analysis by Peterson Institute of International Economics showed that deporting 1.3 million workers would cause the size of the US economy to shrink by 2.1%, essentially creating a recession. The removal of a large number of undocumented immigrants could significantly affect the labor market, right? Particularly in industries that rely on immigrant labor, such as agriculture, construction, and hospitality. Now, at the end of the day, not only that, it could also disrupt business operations, particularly for small businesses and industries dependent on immigration labor. Now, we also need to know that, doesn't necessarily the US people are going to just take over all these immigrant jobs. Sometimes the immigrants are working in jobs considered too menial for the average Americans. There are some like that, thinking of like that. So we have to see how Trump deals with this. Manpower is very important, but nevertheless, we did see some changes with Trump with regards to mentioning that they may be considering giving green cards to all students that actually graduate from American learning institutions, so higher education institutions. So this is a move that is pretty different from the rest of the presidents. But how, is he going to go through with this when he gets elected? It remains to be seen. So when you see all these kind of things, when you deport people, there's not enough workers, automatically this could lead to potential higher costs for goods and services that you cannot escape. So as a conclusion, while Trump proposed policies aimed to stimulate economic growth, reduce taxes, and boost economic production, they also pose significant risks related to fiscal sustainability, environmental impact, social cohesion, and international relations. Balancing these initiatives with long-term economic stability and ethical considerations will be crucial for achieving sustainable economic development. So this, you have to be clear and you really need to understand. Okay, so we shall wait for further developments from Trump, and then we will talk. Okay.